Hello, everyone. Welcome to yet another episode and a pre match show between England and West Indies. I know that simultaneously, while we are doing this stream, there is one interesting game that is currently happening between South Africa and Australia. So, we'll try to give you regular updates while that match ends. But we are here joined by Abhinav and Omkar, the two Mumbai Indians boys. They were together during the IPL, but now I'll just separate them because they are the analysts for the two teams that will be playing tonight, and that is England versus West Indies. So England, West Indies. I mean, whenever we talk about these two teams, that 2016 final comes into our mind. Carlos Brathwaite, remember the name, and I'm sure all the England fans would be remembering that name. Maybe after that he didn't deliver too much, but that phrase actually reverberates in all the English fans' ears. But yes, as Sanmay rightly said, remember the name is the first thing that comes to mind when these two sides meet. So let's start off talking about the West Indies here for that matter. So I'm not going to ask any specific question to both of you regarding any specific team. I'm just going to keep the panel open. Anyone can pitch in because we know that we are just here as analysts. So when we talk about West Indies and ICC T20 World Cup, so even regardless of whatever form they are in, you always start them off as the favorites, and you rightfully do so because look at the superstars that they have in their team. So, guys, your thoughts on West Indies? Do you think that they are still capable of regarded as the favorites to lift the trophy for the third time in this tournament?
Definitely, because you see the names Lendl Simmons, Evan Lewis, Chris Gale, Curran, Hetmeyer, Pollard, Russell, Bravo, all the big superstars of T20 cricket because they play a lot of T20 cricket apart from internationals and in the franchisee cricket. So I feel like they are been even though they have lost their both the warm up matches, but they can turn it around anytime because we know their batting has a lot of depth.
Yes, lot of depth batting indeed. Sorry, I mean we are in two minds. We don't know whether to focus on the match that is currently going on. It is going to be a crunch finish, but we'll try to keep that balance in bed. So we can already we expected some comments about the Australia SA game, and Ankit is saying let's go Aussies. So we'll wait and see what happens in that. But yes, West Indies do possess a good threat in this T20 World Cup. They have. I mean, you can almost safely assume कि मतलब नंबर 11 तक उनकी बैटिंग चलती है कोई भी आके वो उड़ा देता है सो दैट इज द बेस्ट पार्ट अबाउट वेस्ट इंडीज बट स्पीकिंग अबाउट अ टीम दैट हैज rejuvenated themselves in the limited overs cricket. I mean, England since 2015 ODI World Cup, they have been completely different side when you think about the transformation. So they narrowly missed out on a T20 World Cup in 2016 courtesy of West Indies, of course, but they have always been on an upward rise, and arguably you would it would be safe for us to say that they are currently the best limited over side in the world right now. So Abhinav, I'm going to ask you this question about England. I mean, obviously they have been hit by the injury curse and player unavailability curse right before the start of the tournament, missing out Ben Stokes, Jofra Archer, and that is such a big blow, and there are chances that Liam Livingston might not be playing in this match as well. I'm not sure about the official update, but what are your thoughts on this English side, and knowing how the pitches are currently behaving and becoming on the slower side? Do you still fancy this star-studded English lineup to make good use of their favorite tag and lift yet another ICC event?
I was gunning to see Jofra Archer and Ben Stokes, play in these conditions, only because they did really well in the IPL in India in the previous year. So, yeah, England have been a bit unlucky, and now, like you mentioned, that Liam Livingston may be out as well. So, uh, it's not official yet, but Liam Livingston is going to be a vital piece for England in this campaign. But हाँ मतलब favorite stag with Ben Stokes and Jofra Archer is a different one, and favorite stag on paper is a different one without these two. So I think now with their big players out of the tournament, I think favorite stag to nahi denge unko only because death bowling is a concern for England. Yes, if they get an opportunity to bowl first in every game, then it's a different thing. So, but yes, I do feel ki West Indies is a have a better favorite stack than England only because of the injury concerns they have.
Yes, I agree. I mean, West Indies will start off as the favorites because, I mean, yes, Sanmay mentioning rightly that they lost both of their warm up, but you still can't rule out West Indies in the World Cup. I think he meant can't and not can. But yes, Omkar, coming to you, West Indies. I mean, obviously, start of the tournament, and obviously we expected one comment about Chris Gale. I mean, this could potentially be his last T20 World Cup or a last ICC event for that matter. So can we expect a thunderstorm? Can we expect the weather to be focused on the main man himself? What are your thoughts on this?
I feel like to get a gale storm, to expect a gale storm, he should open, because when he's opening, all the rest of the players are just spectators to watch. Even the umpires are just spectators. They just have to make two signs. It's like this or it's like this when he goes. But I feel like for him to open, it's bit of concern that. But West Indies have decided that Gale will play at number three to balance the things, like what Punjab Kings have decided since the last IPL. So even if at number three we can expect a gale storm, because these guys, if even if they are not consistent, one or two games they perform, and they perform like hell. They just destroy the bowling lineup of the opposition, and they just take away the game single-handedly. Even if any of the superstars apart from Gale, like uh, Russell plays one or two matches, wins it to you. Even Nicholas Puran wins you one or two matches. They are in the top four, in the semi-final. So this is how the West Indies team is actually.
बट
Yes.
ओमकार बैलेंस मिला है क्या उसको 3 नंबर पे खिला के अब तक पंजाब को?
नहीं, बैलेंस तो नहीं मिला है. दैट्स व्हाट आई एम सेइंग, दैट कि गेल स्टॉर्म एक्सपेक्ट करना है तो ओपन ही कराना चाहिए. थोड़ा
आई
सा वहाँ पे
कम्प्लीटली एग्री.
इम्बैलेंस हो रहा है वहाँ पे उनका.
कंप्लीटली एग्री. आई मीन तुम क्रिस गेल को कैसे तुम कम बॉल खिलाने बोल सकते? तुम उनको तब भेजो यार जब प्लेयर्स अंदर है, और प्लेयर्स कुछ कर नहीं सकते अगर फील्ड अंदर है तो. So I think Chris Gale as an opener is as deadly as there's anyone out there. But I don't know what's in this playing him at number three due to his age. I don't get this get this opinion. But if it was up to me, I will definitely open with Chris Gale, because if you remember 2016 Wankhede, England versus West Indies, Chris Gale opened the innings and he scored a century, I guess. So I think it can't be more simpler than this. You know this bowling lineup inside out. तो आई थिंक गेल को ओपन ही कराओ, फर्क नहीं पड़ता अगर लोएस्ट दो लेफ्ट हैंडर ओपन कर रहे हैं. मे बी उनको लग रहा है कि लेफ्ट राइट कॉम्बिनेशन जाना चाहिए, बट इफ इट वाज अप टू मी, क्रिस गेल should have opened every game.
I absolutely agree. I mean, I was there in Wankhede in that match, and obviously I was rooting for England, so result was obviously
So
going to
that
be in
was
favor of.
that was assumed that
Obviously.
what will be the result.
Yeah.
मतलब वो तो given it other way, but yes, Chris Gale as an opener is a dangerous prospect. But speaking about players batting out of their position, this was in a this was actually not working in the favor of the batting side. But sometimes when a player does not bat in his preferred position, it could even do wonders for the team. And I'm speaking about England's team captain Owen Morgan. Owen Morgan didn't have a good time. Let's be fair. I mean, we expected him to at least come back into form during the IPL, at least कौन से तो time पे. But I think recently he made a statement that if he feels that he's not delivering too much for English team, and he is happy to have himself drop. So I'm sure that one share will be so mad because he didn't do that statement for Kolkata Knight Riders, because that would have been such a good team if they had both Russell and Shakib in that team. But we're not here to talk about the IPL here for that matter. But speaking about Owen Morgan, let me just ask you guys, what is the role of Owen Morgan in this star-studded English lineup? Do you think that even England without Morgan is still a dangerous side, or is he needed? मतलब बस captaincy के लिए उसको खिलाओ, and even if he doesn't bat, it's okay. But do you think that playing with just 10 men is enough for England in this World Cup?
What I feel is like, well, captain, yeah, he's a good captain and he's not having a good run. But even if he's not in the playing 11, you have got Josh Butler to lead the side, and you have got Moeen Ali as your vice captain, or maybe Jason Roy or Chris Stokes, the experienced players. But I feel like even if Morgan drops himself, they can bring in Sam Billings. Well, I saw that as well, boundary. Um, Even if Sam Billings comes in, or maybe Liam Livingstone is fit to play, then it will give the team much balance as well as what Morgan does. But I think so Morgan might uh, play some of the crucial roles in one or two group stage matches for England.
इंटरेस्टिंग क्रूशियल रोल्स वन ऑफ द ग्रुप आई मीन ऐसे पिचेस पे अगर आप अभी जो मैच चालू है आई मीन 119 ऑन नॉर्मल T20 गेम्स यू वुड एक्सपेक्ट द बैटिंग टीम टू बी जस्ट chasing it down with ease, but do you think that matlab Morgan will have a play in this? Because I think agar record speaks for itself, even though he has had a slump in the recent times, he's still England's great limited overs batsman. So maybe if he starts trusting his batting a little bit more on these kind of wickets when hard hitting batsmen don't find runs. I mean, players like Morgan, you saw what kind of an inning Steve Smith played today. So if Australia do end up chasing 8 runs in the last over, you have to appreciate the innings played by Steve Smith. So maybe that could be what Morgan needs to do in this group set. So what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, completely agree. The kind of innings Steve Smith played, if Australia win this, it will be a match-winning innings. I mean, if they win it, we still got 8 runs needed from last 6 deliveries. But yeah, I think Morgan is just one knock away from being his normal self. क्योंकि उनके जैसा better captain इंग्लैंड में या वर्ल्ड क्रिकेट में अभी तो फिलहाल नहीं है. You can say कि there are other captains who perform well under different situations with the bat, but Morgan the captain and Morgan the batter is are two different things. But I think no, it's not fair on Morgan to drop him. Yes, एक दो मैचेस खिलाओ उन्हें उन्हें अगर स्कोर कम चेंज करे तो उनको बड़ा टारगेट भेजो, बट उनको ऊपर भेजो अगर स्कोर कम चेंज कर रहे हो तो. I think that is what he needs right now. And just like that, you will not be surprised if Steve Smith scores 25 30 ball 50 in the next game because he got this score behind himself in the first game. So I think it's all about one innings, and the more sooner he gets, the more early we'll see the normal on Morgan.
Yes, I completely agree. I mean, if he bats at a very stable position, then we'll see Owen Morgan, the old Owen Morgan, coming back into form. So, just an update on the current match that is going on. Australia started off the final over really well. They need 6 of 5 deliveries, and you would back Australia to chase it down with ease because they have Stoinis on their end. So, let's see what happens. But yes, quickly speaking about West Indies, I'll just take one question and then I have to leave because I have another show with NDTV I have to attend. So I think one shift is available. He'll take over, or I think you guys are very well mature enough to run the show itself. So the next question will be about Sunil Narine, and we know what kind of an IPL is that. So इंडिया में हम लोग अगर बात करते तो वी से कि अरे हाँ ये युजवेंद्र चाहल का आईपीएल कितना मस्त था. Australia has won it, so it seems. Yes. So, Yuzvendra Chahal, we are definitely going to miss Yuzvendra Chahal. But from West Indies' point of view, do you think that they will be missing Sunil Narine in this World Cup, given the way how the pitches are currently playing?
Well, yeah, I think the way Sunil Narayan performed in the later stages of the IPL season, they will be gutted to see him out of the squad right now. But I think yeah, Sunil Narayan is a big miss only because he can get those crucial runs when needed, when you need those big hits, on a consistent basis. I think you need Sunil Narayan for that. So I think West Indies missed a trick there by not including him. If Sunil Narayan was in this 11, I think there's not many better sides than West Indies in this tournament.
Well, certainly. And when you're talking about this match, Australia just need 2 runs now at the moment. So a good sight for all the Aussie fans out there. I'm sure there are quite a few in our college as well. But talking about the match right now, I mean, 5 to 7 minutes left for the. No, I think it's toss time right now. So Omkar, starting with you, what do you think should the team winning the toss decide to do? As the match is in Dubai and it's a high scoring ground, we have seen in IPL as well that Dubai was the only ground to chase. So I feel like win the toss and bowl first definitely will be an ideal strategy to go on for any of the both teams. And Abhinav, there Australia has won it. Sorry to interrupt. Yeah,
Yeah,
Australia won the match. So the first match of the Super 12s has been won by Australia. They won it by 5 wickets. Some hiccups in the chase, but then South Africa still. I mean, we still saw that some fielding misplacements and those dropped catches in the end. So that cost them the game, I feel.
But Abhinav, you agree with Omkar on the fact that Dubai will be a ground where 150, 160 is just a par score, or do you think that it will be lesser than that?
Yeah, I completely agree. I think 150, 155, 160 is a winning score on this ground, especially because we are playing international cricket, not because we are playing franchise cricket. International cricket में par score थोड़ा कम रहता है. We have seen that based on the stats for international games. So I think yeah, 160 is a winning will be a winning total in Dubai. So yeah, win the toss and bowl first.
Perfect, perfect. But Omkar, we've also seen that the sides who are chasing a total in, especially in World Cups, because the pressure is very high, and anything can happen. Like we saw today, even 120 was made a very difficult task by the South Africans. So, do you think that chasing is gonna be easier, or do you think that just bat first, just go the Australian way, just bat first, and then put on a big total on the board, and put the opposition under pressure will be the key? I'm not talking about just this match, but throughout the World Cup as well.
Yeah, because see, this is a subcontinent track, and we have seen the UAE pitches getting slow. But I feel like for the World Cup, there must be fresh pitches to chase it up. Because what happens, today's game in T20, especially all the captains would love to chase it, but sometimes the captains bat first in the knockout stage or at some crucial point when the pitch is supporting the bowling track or the spinning track. It's a slow wicket, so I feel like. Most of the batsmen will definitely go to field first because the matches in Dubai, if you see, at least 160, 170 target, it's chaseable. For defended, you have to bowl really well with all your five bowlers, and even if one bowler goes for runs, you have to bring in your six bowler, which is very essential. And I feel like that is going to what happen. And both the teams, England and West Indies, have the six bowling options. I mean, they have a lot of bowling options. West Indies, because you have Russell, Pollard, even Gale can bowl. So that's too many bowling options they have in their lineup.
Talking about the key players today, Abhinav, for England, let's start off with the key players. Who do you think will be the key today? Because Joe Root, obviously, we've seen the innings Steve Smith played today, although it was a runner ball innings, but still proved to be very vital in today's game. So, do you think Joe Root will be as crucial today for England?
Well, I guess more than him, I guess Moeen Ali is going to be very, very crucial for England, especially because of the way he's played for Chennai recently in the IPL. And these tracks do suit Moeen Ali more than any other English player. Not like he doesn't perform in English conditions, but Moeen Ali के लिए ये conditions perfect है, and with the ball and with the bat. So I think he's going to be that X factor England will be counting on. And just like that, we saw England has won the toss and it will be bowling first. So I think आधा काम हो गया उनका आज का. They just need to restrict them to a low score and chase it down.
Omkar, you can never rule out the West Indies, can you? Even though the odds are with England at the moment, West Indies, we all know what kind of tricks they can pull out from their pockets. So, what are you expecting in today's game? Are you expecting the same vintage West Indies that we used to watch in the World Cups before?
Yeah, definitely. Because see, they might have lost both their warm up matches, but these players are such players. They perform at these crucial games when even if you see Kyron Pollard, Russell, Gale, Puran doesn't have a good IPL record, but he has played really well for West Indies in the ODIs or T20. So I'm expecting some kind of fireworks tonight because these two sides have a huge batting depth in their playing 11. Like even if like Chris Wokes can bat, Adil Rashid can bat. Even in West Indies, you can say that Obed McCoy, like Hayden Walsh, these guys can bat. So some definitely fire of cracking works will be definitely will by expectations for tonight's game.
Perfectly put. Sanmay has given us the update for the toss as well. Obviously, England winning the toss and bowling first. And he's also pointed out that David Willey, Sam Billings, Tom Curran, and Mark Wood will not be playing from the 15-man squad. So the 11 will surely be getting it in some time for both the teams. But Abhinav, wanted to ask you about Sunil Narayan. Obviously, he's been so influential in this. UAE leg for the Kolkata Knight Riders. Do you think that the West Indies selectors have missed a trick?
Yeah, definitely. I think they've missed the trick there. बर्थडे केक होता है ना, जिसमें अपन लोग लाल चेरी डालते हैं ऊपर, तभी केक कंप्लीट लगता है, वरना नहीं लगता. That red cherry is Sunil Narayan. I mean, you add Sunil Narayan to this squad, these 11 players can single-handedly win you games. So I think Sunil Narayan, because he bowls those 4 overs, and he bowls 4 overs in every game he plays. And with the bat as well, you can use him as a floater wherever you want. You're chasing a low score, you can send him at the top of the order. You're chasing a high score, you can send him at the top of the order. So I think that is a big miss, Sunil Narayan. Because if it was up to me, and if I was given a choice कि Sunil Narayan को लेके जाए कि नहीं वर्ल्ड कप में, आंख बंद करके बोलूंगा कि भाई लेके चलो, ये सवाल पूछने लायक ही नहीं है.
So, do you think there's some issue with the board and everything that's going on in West Indies, or do you think that it was a tactical decision or something?
Well, I guess they didn't expect Sunil Narayan to perform so well in the IPL due to his, recent performances. But if you see, वेस्ट इंडीज ऐसी टीम है ना कि तुम क्रिस गेल को 3 नंबर पे खिला सकते हो, बट तुम सुनील नारायण को वर्ल्ड कप नहीं लेके जा सकते. मतलब सिंपल सी बात है यार, तुम सुनील नारायण इज अ मैच विनर. आई मीन, यू कांट ड्रॉप मैच विनर्स फ्रॉम योर स्क्वाड. सिंपल एज दैट.
Omkar, we saw Samuel Badri, who used to bowl for West Indies in the power play overs. Even Sunil Narayan has bowled in the World Cup at Sri Lanka a few years back. So, who do you think can be the spin sensation for West Indies? Is it going to be Allen, or who else? I cannot see any other name, providing with
I
that.
feel like it's going to be Hayden Walsh because he has bowled. He is a leg spinner and he has bowled really well in the recent times when West Indies was playing the bilateral T20 series. And talking about Sunil Narayan, I read an article that there are still some issues with his bowling action in international cricket. Like for in IPL to play, you have to go under BCCI, and for international you have to go under the rules of ICC and the MCC laws and regulations. So there are some issues with his bowling action. That's why he was not picked. I read an article of Karen Pollard in the press before today's match. Many questions were asked him about Sunil Narayan because still on this day as well, Sunil Narayan is quite unpredictable. Like he's one such bowler that who doesn't go for runs all the time. It's like out of 100 he just goes for runs maybe 2 or 3 times, max to max 5 times. Yeah, otherwise 95% of his overs are very economical. Like he goes for 26, 27 and takes 2 or 3 wickets, and bats as well. Like he can give you the role of a finisher as well if you need.
Just look at that England
England.
batting lineup, man. I
The
mean,
England lineup, if you could please highlight it. Yeah, there you go. Jason Roy, Joss Butler opening the innings along with Malan, Bairstow, Livingston, Morgan, Ali, Vokes, Jordan, and Rashid can bat as well. So you can count it from behind, and you
yeah.
can see three bowlers and two spinners there. So they are putting a lot of trust in Moin Ali, and occasionally if they need a sixth bowler, I think they'll go with Livingston. So Abhinav, your general thoughts on this bowling attack? We all know you also mentioned that the batting lineup is, you don't need to talk about it. But what about the bowling attack?
Yeah, it's a bit subdued bowling lineup with the exclusion of Jofra Archer and Ben Stokes. But as you see, I mean, Adil Rashid is the first spinner. Moeen Ali and Liam Livingston are going to bowl the overs of the fifth fifth bowler Morgan will be looking for. So I think, yeah, batting is very well sorted for England, and they are lucky that they have won the toss and they decided to field first. Because if you ask this batting lineup to bat first, they may score 200, but they may concede 201 as well to West Indies. So I think yes, a depleted bowling lineup, but you can't keep uh, this team out of contention from winning the game.
Omkar, your thoughts on this 11? Tamal Mills with his left armers can be beneficial, but a like-to-like replacement. Had you expected David Willey to be in the 11 instead of him?
Yeah, definitely. Because see what happens. These guys are not going with five perfect bowlers. They are going with four perfect bowlers and Moeen Ali as a second spinner and Lame Livingston as the third spinner as a part-time bowler. So I feel like instead of Timal Mills, or maybe if Livingston was not fit, they would have brought in David Willey, because David Willey can bat as well. He's a similar kind of player like Sam Curran. Like his left-handed batter goes for. He opens in the NetWest T20 Blast and also for Perth Scorchers in the Big Bash League. So you need some kind of players because if you're not going with your five regular bowlers and you have to rely on some of your batsmen to bowl, then it might be a worrying sign because against this side, against the Caribbean side, who can play spin really well, you need your perfect five bowlers to bowl.
Perfectly put. We are going to be showing the West Indies playing 11 now. Abhinav wants to see Gale at the top, and I think so does everyone out there. But let's talk about the bowling a bit now as well. Dwayne Bravo obviously will be bowling in the death overs. Akil Hussain, Obed McCoy. Interestingly, you don't have Hayden Walsh Jr. क्या नाम था उसका? Hayden Walsh
Hayden
Jr.
Walsh Jr.
Huh. So that's one trick that West Indies haven't applied for. Ravi Rampal, the vintage fast bowler, is back for West Indies, so that's a sign for them. So your thoughts, Omkar, on this 11?
Yeah, this is a star-studded lineup, like a heavily destructive lineup. We can say that. But I really wanted Chris Gale to open because in 2016 World Cup, Lendl Simmons was playing in the middle order, and Gale used to open with, I guess, Johnson Charles. So even if they had Johnson Charles and Simmons, Simmons was playing in the middle order. So I feel like Gale should have been open. So it's not like sometimes you should always go with a left to righty combination. For T20, you can play your two best openers, whether they are both are righties. Like India is going with Rahul and Rohit, both are righty batters, and West Indies should have gone with Gale and Lewis as their both are left-handed batters who are very destructive. And Lewis is some kind of Gale as well. Like he can start from the power play itself and can destroy in the middle overs as well.
And just wanted to add that just have a look at that name, Akil Hussain. He is going to be the key tonight. I mean, this man, I'm a huge fan of Akil Hussain. The way he bowls, he doesn't turn the ball much, but the way he brings it, into the right handers with Jason Roy and Johnny Bairstow, Josh Butler. I think he'll be licking his lips out there. So I think, but West Indies should have used another spinner. I think. Going in with Obed McCoy and one of Obed McCoy and Ravi Rampal instead of both of them. I think that would have been better because Hayden Walsh Jr. can bat as well. So I think, and he's a gun fielder. I don't think there's a better fielder in the Windies squad than Hayden Walsh Jr. So I think they should have used him only because he's a wrist spinner, and we all know the importance of wrist spinners in a T20 side.
Yeah, so both teams obviously going with the star-studded batting lineups. We're still not sure about the bowling. We'll find out. We'll find that out in today's game. But prediction time, guys. Starting with you, Omkar. Who do you think will win today's game, and will it be a comfortable win or will it be a win in the last over or something like that?
No, I feel like this is going to be the close game because I guess these two sides who are in the same group are completely favorites of the tournament. Like, if you see the 2016 record, like they played, there was a nice close game in 2016 and in 2016 final as well. And West Indies has the upper hand 5-0. Like we have against Pakistan 5-0. West Indies has similar record against England. So I feel I'm backing the West Indies to start off the campaign. The defending champions are looking favorites for me tonight.
Wow, Abhinav, do you agree with him, or do you think England still have a better hand today?
Yeah, I still feel England is going to clinch this one only because they're bowling first. If they were batting first and had they scored 180, 190, I still wouldn't have been confident with this bowling lineup. So I think England जीतेगा ये वाला game.
So both analysts going with different opinions. It's quite interesting when all of this happens because there's a lot of messaging in our group during in between those matches. So we'll try and find out who wins the game today. But I mean, it was amazing to have both of you guys, and obviously Sanchit, who did the first 15 minutes of the show. So amazing work, guys, and thank you to all our viewers for tuning in as well. Thank you, Sanmay, for the regular updates regarding the playing 11s and the tosses. England versus West Indies will be starting in 15 minutes from now, and it is going to be a nail-biting encounter. So we'll after the match we'll find out who wins. Was it Abhinav's England or was it Omkar's West Indies, if I could put it that way. So yeah, thank you guys, and all the best.
Yeah. Once post match चालू कर रौनक नहीं है.
I
Yes,
think
so
Ronak is missing today. There is no power there. Kolkata is really struggling. The only power that is there is with Mumbai, I guess.
they lost the IPL, so that's what happens when you lose the IPL and be in Kolkata. So yeah, coming back to the post-match analysis now of the match between Australia and South Africa. It was a good match. I mean, Kostub did predict that the side chasing will win the match, and that's exactly what happened. So, Kostub, what do you think were the keys from this game? And if, as an Indian fan, if I could ask you, what were the things that you could look for in this game?
Definitely, if you can see that if bowling is right, if balls are bowled in right position, anybody can choke anyone. So looking at South Africa, decent bowling attack apart from the seamers. They're like Pretorius is definitely a weak link, and he also bowled the last over, so definitely problems there. But if you look at the bowlers, I think Keshav Maharaj is the only player who is making T20 debut and captaining as well in the warm-up game, I believe. And I'm not sure which game, but Keshav Maharaj did the record. So Keshav Maharaj being the debut bowler in T20 and Tabrez Samshi. Not that experienced, currently in T20 rank 1. So a decent bowling attack altogether, but they still could choke Australia, a team coming in with lot of form, a lot of momentum with them. So if you bowl the right bowls, if you apply the pressure, even the run rate of 6 runs per over is difficult here. So that is the only takeaway from us, takeaway for us. So do the right things, and result will be for you.
And Omkar, we saw Australia did struggle in those middle overs, courtesy of some amazing fielding by the South Africans, and obviously, as Kaustubh mentioned, good work by Keshav Maharaj and Shamsi. So, do you think that this is going to be very vital in the upcoming matches? That you need a set batter at one end, and another end you can get those fours and sixes. So, is it the formula that teams will be looking for? Someone like a Smith from one end and Maxwell from one end.
Yeah, because even if you see Australian batting lineup, if you look on paper, it's a star-studded batting lineup, and like they are the favorites of the tournament. But the thing is, they are not coming in the tournament with some form. Like the top order is struggling, the openers are really struggling. Aaron Finch is not among the runs, and David Warner is struggling a lot. That's why he was dropped from the IPL playing 11 of SRH. And Mitchell Marsh is having some good run, but he's not that consistent uh, in this format. So all we can say, all the momentum for Australia relies on the middle order, especially Steve Smith, who can play the anchor role, and Glenn Maxwell, who has played really well since the start of this year in IPL 2021, and in this into the what we can say Australian bilateral series which they played against New Zealand and West Indies. He was the key for them, and I feel like their bowling was more important in this match. Their bowling actually won them the match instead of the batting, because when I saw the target, I felt like Australia should have gone for the thought of going behind the NRR, because what happens, there are 6 teams in your group, and out of 6 only 2 will qualify. It's not like you will win each and every game. You have to face England, you have to face West Indies as well, even Sri Lanka and Bangladesh with their spin bowling lineup. So I feel like Australia should have gone with the NRR, because what happens, if you have to chase 119 in just 120 balls, it's a kind of runner ball thing, and you should have chased it in maybe 14 to 16 overs to ensure that you get a safe win. But this lack of form of Australia has really put them in a difficult situation, because this match they really almost had lost it, and they just merrily won it. It's like that.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. That you're talking about net run rate, but at one point it was looking like they will lose the match. So I don't think net run rate was on their mind.
Exactly, exactly. And Sanmaz brought about a point. Will Australia and South Africa be highly dependent on their bowlers? We did see that amazing performance by Josh Hazelwood, in fact, today. And Kostub, if you could please speak on Hazelwood as a bowler, as a T20 bowler, how he's emerged as a T20 bowler, especially after the IPL. 2 for 19 today in 4 overs. So that was one spell to watch out for.
I think definitely he has some made adjustment to his game, and the results are showing. If you look at his bowling spell, he has bowled better than Mitchell Stark. And if you could have asked any random person that who would he have in his T20 team, Mitchell Stark or Josh Hazelwood, I can bet my life that 90% will say Mitchell Stark. But if you look at if you look at the performances that Josh Hazelwood is putting, that's definitely not the case. And those 10% who are saying that they would have Josh Hazelwood in place of them, in place of Mitchell Stark, are actually seeing the current performance. And if you see, he's exploiting the reverse swing as well. So definitely the improvements or the leaps that he has taken to improve his game are showing results for him. And I do agree with Sanmay here that South Africa and Australia will definitely be heavily dependent on their bowlers' performance. Reason being, the batsmen are not in form, and until and unless they come in form, they'll be heavily dependent on the bowlers. Also, the pitches are supporting bowlers as well.
Cause sorry, Omkar, if you could talk about South Africa's batting lineup, it looks very shattered at the moment. I mean, you cannot see any big names, and obviously they have got massive talent, no doubt about that. But they certainly don't seem to be in the party this time around. Aiden Markram, obviously a good knock today, but what are your thoughts in general about the South African batting lineup?
First, the thing is that they didn't selected Faf du Plessis, their main man, their captain, and a legend for them in this T20 format. He was in great touch in the IPL, as we saw. What a knock he played against KKR in the final. But the thing was like not selecting the experienced player in your side and not having AB de Villiers. This batting lineup has been a bit weakened. But if you see the talent which they have, like they have Vander Hussein, then Aiden Markham is a delight to watch, and Temba Bahuma started really well, but I guess he was going very much in a hurry to score runs, and that's why he got out. But the thing is that they should have added something like Janeman Malan, who is also an opener in their uh, bilateral series which they played. He was really sensational for them to start, and I can't forget that dismissal of Quinton de Kock. What was that, man? Like you were playing the sweep and the ball hits the stumps. Like the ball bounces on the pitch and then it hits the stumps. I was actually shattered. Like a player like him can't get out like that.
I think it was due to misunderstanding. He missed the ball and he was actually looking to run the run. He was actually trying to run a single, and he did not actually know where the ball went. The ball was actually chopped on. He bounced ahead. I think over his eyesight. He could not even guess where the ball was. Like
True,
great
true.
comment from Hardik there. काफी
Hardik,
ग्रोन
Hardik is
समझ में आई है.
Hardik is making some illusions and comments there. So, I mean, yeah,
Illusion मत बोल. लॉजिक तो है थोड़ा सा.
but still, yeah, we do hope that India will defeat Pakistan tomorrow. I mean, you can see the excitement already in the comments. Match Kale and aaj se hi people have started, so that's the amount of craze that that you get for India Pakistan. But talking about today's game once more, I mean, also, do you think that the toss favored the Australians a bit? Because if South Africa would have batted second, do you think they would have had clarity on the total and stuff like that? I mean, we could all talk about ifs and buts, but do you think that the toss played a major role in today's win for Australia?
If anything, I think toss played a slight advantage to South Africa just because Australia asked them to bat first. South Africa could not hold their own. They scored only 118 runs, and then Australia got overconfident that okay, 120 runs, that's less than 6 runs per overs, and they took it for granted. And that actually played into the hands of South African players because everyone was looking okay. If I'm not playing, someone else will play. Someone else is behind me, and that chain kept on going unless and until Marcus Stoinis actually stood there and scored few runs for Australia. But if you look at in general senses, the train was going downwards only. And actually, one reply to Warrior Sam, Duplessis has retired from ODI and Test only to concentrate on T20 World Cup, and South Africa did not pick him. And same goes with Imran Tahir. They both retired from all the other formats just to prolong their career in T20, and South Africa did bad with them.
Certainly. Omkar, your thoughts again on the Australian batting lineup this time around because Warner is still not in form. Finch also, he's looking a bit shaky at the start. The only relief is the middle order because Maxwell is in good form, although he didn't perform that well today. But your thoughts on Maxwell and Smith and the Australian batting lineup in general because they seem to be out of form, but we all know what Australia can do.
Yeah, like as I mentioned earlier, that Australia highly rely on their middle order, like Smith playing the anchor role and Maxwell going for runs. Because if you see, Maxwell can once Maxwell is set, he can just go with his reverse sweeps. I guess he missed the playing the reverse sweep and got bowled. But I think that even Stoinis and Wade did a good job finishing the match. It's somehow relying on the openers to give them good start because what happens if each and every game the openers fail, then Australia have to take a harsh decision on the openers. Maybe decide to drop Warner and maybe Wade as the opener and bring in Josh English to play the role of a finisher, because against New Zealand in the warm up match, Josh Illings finished the game really well, and he has had a good run in the BBL as well. We might see him in the mega auctions ahead of IPL 2022. So I feel like when your openers start good, then the team then the team has a relief in their mindset. And when the openers don't start perform consistently, then it's a bit of thing to make a decision, or thing to revamp it by bringing Matthew Wade in the top of the order.
True, true. Quite a possibility of bringing in Matthew Wade as at the top order. But that's it for the analysis of this match, of the match between Australia and South Africa. Australia winning by 5 wickets, and England and West Indies are going to be playing now. I can see the English national anthem in the background. So this is going to be a very interesting match that's going to happen. Omkar obviously predicting that the Windies are going to win this one. Let's see what's going to happen. But Kosto, one quick prediction for this game: England versus West Indies.
Yeah, how can I support English in any conditions? I'm obviously supporting West Indies. The only time I would support English is if they are. No, I would not never support English cricket team. Sorry.
Quite,
Yeah,
quite
West Indies,
perfect.
man. West Indies. Yeah.
That's the perfect way to end the show. Two Windies supporters out here. Abhinav will be the English supporter, so there's going to be a lot of chant in the group now, and another exciting game on our hands today. So yes, obviously tomorrow we will also be doing the analysis of the two matches between the first one between Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, and the second one, obviously the big one, India versus Pakistan. So please do join in for that, because it's going to be a very special show, and
We are also
you
having a
guys.
watch along.
Sorry.
We are also having a watch along tomorrow for India
Yeah,
Pakistan.
yeah. So there's also a watch along there confirmed by Kostub. So please do join in for that tomorrow, and we're gonna have an amazing time tomorrow. But till then, let's concentrate on this match, England versus West Indies. So that's it from here. Thank you, guys.